If I let every asshole on Twitter ruin my day, I would never get out of bed. People call me a Republican in name only because, or have accused me of that because I support marriage equality, but for me it's such an issue that's just beyond party politics. It's about civil rights, and it's about just wanting all Americans in this country to have the same opportunity, which you think would be pretty easy for people to digest, but it isn't. I don't care. I'm 29 right now. I'm almost 30, and I just feel like people can say anything they want about me anymore, and you really get to a place where it doesn't affect you anymore. Yeah, Jeb Bush. He's my big favorite right now. I just think he's really living in reality, and his recent comments on immigration and talking about how it was an act of love is really the kind of rhetoric and narrative that I can get behind. And I know people sort of say that his last name may hurt him, but I don't think that's the case. And I'm really excited. I really hope he runs, and I'm really excited to see what happens. I was trying to remember the last time I saw you, and I thought that was it. Yeah. What have I been doing since then? I think at that time I was just starting to work at MSNBC, and since then I have done a new television show for a new network called Pivot, and I'm about to start a new late night news show. We're calling it like the anti-news show. You know, my network is called Pivot, and it's owned by Participant Media, which does, their tagline is entertainment that inspires, and their movies have been like Lincoln and The Help and An Inconvenient Truth, and all their movies have a social message behind it, and it's been very successful, so they decided to launch a television network. And when I first met with them, I actually wasn't interested in being on a network that was brand new, because you sort of see what has happened with OWN, and that's Oprah, and it didn't do that well. So I was hesitant, but their message is so on board with what I want to do with my life, and it's all about trying to change the world and get young people involved in social action, and I love them. I've been working for them for a little more than a year now, and I don't know, I've been in LA. I moved to LA, and I've been rehearsing at the CBS studios for this new show, and I just feel like I'm in such a whirlwind. It's so hard. I was telling my friend on the plane ride over here that I am exhausted, and rehearsing every day in a studio doesn't sound like it would be difficult, but I am blown out tired. We're doing like fake shows right now and I have 2 co-hosts, and we're just doing everything we would do for a normal show. So coming in and doing the pitch meetings, and then researching and going over everything with my producers, and then going on air or fake on air, and just trying to make it's an hour-long show. So we're just trying to work the kinks out before it starts. An hour is a long time. It's a long time, but I'm so excited. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be on MTV News, and I wanted to be a news anchor for young people. So I feel like I've weirdly made that happen, and I'm really excited for it to launch, and it has a lot of potential, and it's exciting to be part of something that's more grassroots. You know, I worked for cable news, and it's such a machine, and it's nice to work for a place where I have such creative freedom. I think politics and Hollywood, I just moved to Hollywood a month ago, and I actually don't see that many similarities, other than people are in an industry, or it's a one industry town. I find people in DC to be so much more nuanced, so much more intelligent, and have a sort of sense of urgency about their day. So when people compare politics and Hollywood, I actually found the worlds to be quite different. But I think there's historically just been an attraction between politicians and people in Hollywood. Look at JFK and Frank Sinatra. You know, it goes back to the beginning, or I guess not the beginning of time, but it goes back to a long time ago. And I don't have a problem with it per se. I only have a problem when people start listening to celebrities more than they start listening to their leaders. But Congress has like a 13% approval rating, so I guess people can listen to whoever they want. But I want to talk about politics, but in a more nuanced way than you get to traditionally in cable news, and this show is definitely sort of a tier of that. And I don't know, I love Republican politics. It's always sort of like the nucleus of everything else in my life. But I felt like I needed to be more inspired in different ways, and this show is giving me an opportunity to have more complex conversations. 53% of Americans don't identify with a political party, and that number raises when you're talking about millennials. And I just think people my age and younger don't feel the need to identify themselves with a party. They're more identified with issues, so that makes the conversation much more complex than just red and blue. And I'm excited to be able to do that now.